Hello and welcome to the show. Listen, we've got a great show planned for you. This year we've been talking about Live Your Dreams and Enjoy Your Life series. That's what it's all about because I'm living my dreams and I am enjoying my life. And so this week's guest is Dr. Stephanie M. Kirkland, CEO of Identity Dynamics. And so I just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy because it's coming up next.
The Cecil Williams South Carolina Civil Rights Museum is the Palmetto State's first and only museum. It honors a generation of people, black and white, throughout the state of South Carolina who deserve to be remembered for their unselfish commitments and sacrifices. Enjoy an immersive and entertaining virtual tour. For more information, visit www.cecilwilliams.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Finkley of The Michael Finkley Show, and you're watching Gold right now. Why? You're watching The Tammy Show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the show. I told you we've got a great show planned for you. I'm excited today because I had the opportunity to meet this wonderful, phenomenal woman. Let me tell you, she's the CEO of Identity Dynamics. She's a devoted wife, a dedicated mother to her 3 children, John and her twins, Aaron and Zachary. And when I tell you, when you hear her speak, you're going to be like, oh my God, I gotta be in the room just to hear her. So anyway, without further ado, want to bring her on out and introduce you to her. Dr. Stephanie M. Kirkland. Come on out, Dr. Kirkland.
Hello, hello. So good to be here.
It is so good to have you on the show. I've been excited about this show because, as I said, when you come into the room, you excite the room. And
Thank
so
you.
I'm excited because you're in the studio and we're going to have a good time.
Yes, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Kirkland. And I'm going to call you Stephanie if that's all right
It
on the
is.
show. Okay.
Yes.
So, Stephanie, one of the first things that I always ask people when they come on the show is talk about who you are. If somebody says to you, who's Stephanie M. Kirkland, what would you say to them?
I would say that I am a leader. I am a woman who is focused on accomplishing the mandate that is on her life to impact those in my realm of influence. I am an influencer, meaning I believe that my purpose and my destiny is called to impact with who I am and how I show up in spaces. I am a lover of books. I enjoy being in the company of people, and I just enjoy growing, learning, and just moving forward in life.
Wow. And that's powerful because it sounds like when I hear that, your purpose. Some people don't find that or know that just yet. And
Mhm.
listening to you, that's your purpose. Everything that you've talked about, being that influencer. And you have certainly influenced me. So, I'm going to talk about this is mothers. As I said, this month has been all about mothers. And by the way, I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day.
I did. I did. It was a little different this time. I was at a conference. I was speaking at an event this weekend. So I got my gifts early and my husband took me out early. So it was a little different, but it was good.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So when I talk about asking the women that have been on the show about the power of motherhood, when you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you?
To me, it means the power to impact. It's not about the responsibilities per se that I have with regards to my children. That's a given because that is one of the roles that I walk out in my life. But when I hear the power of it, to me, it's how I show up impacting the people that I've brought into the world, right? How is who I am, because that's my context, identity. How is who I am impacting and supporting who they are growing to be and how they'll show up in the future. So that power to me means impact.
Wow. And when we talk about mothers, I always ask, no matter what the circumstance is or was, what lessons did you learn from your mother or the women in your life?
Yes. My mom taught me discipline with regards to just disciplining and having focus with regards to my goals, and how I wanted to show up in the world. Her sisters, you know how when they got sisters, child, you got all them lessons, all them lessons attached.
That's
But
right.
they taught me about being a woman. It taught me about
Mhm.
womanhood, how to present myself and show up as the greatest expression of myself. So they all gave me that nuance of who they were. They added their piece to that puzzle. So for my aunt Ethel, she gave me the importance of education. From my aunt Mickey, we called her Mickey. She gave me laughter and just how to have a good time. My mom's just structure and being focused on your goals and your intention. So all of them brought something else. Like my aunt Lovely May, she was the cook, so she taught us the importance of good food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
all gave me a piece of their journey and who they were.
Wow, wow. And that's exciting because anytime we have women in our lives that we can glean from, and we learn those things from, it makes us even more
Yes,
well-rounded women. And
yes.
so when we talk about the lessons that you learned from your mother and your aunts, what lessons are you teaching your young man now about life?
I think the main lesson that I teach them currently, because now they're in the season, they're in their 20s, so they're in that adulting, learning how to adult is a totally different dynamic
Mm,
for all of us. So it's really just trusting their heart, um, staying tuned to what they believe to be true, making sure that they are focused in on what is your truth and how are you going to show up and what does that look like, and owning that narrative,
mm,
also owning their mistakes and not
mhm.
allowing them to take them out, but getting the lessons necessary to keep on moving and not allowing challenges to really keep you from where it is that you really want to go. Being open minded to new experiences. So it's just all of these, it's just a different kind of nuance now that they're out and they're working and they're doing their own thing. It's a totally different conversation.
Yeah, and you've got all boys. We were just talking about that off the air. You have all boys, and I have a daughter. And
Okay.
so, what was that like for you as a mother having three boys, twins, and your oldest?
Yes, and like when at first I have so literally when they were little, I had three under three. So girl, help me somebody. So, but it was awesome. I loved being a boy mom. I loved going to Carowinds and getting on the rides and going to the games. I was one of those
Mhm,
moms who loved them being in sports and
mhm.
going with them, when I could for that. And their dad was also really involved in that. So I loved being a boy mom and their activities and things of that nature. So I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Wow, so that means there was a lot of energy in the house.
A
Because see,
lot.
you got a husband and you
Mhm.
got the three boys.
Yes. Yes. And
Wow.
our dog named Pepper, who's now 15, he an old man now, but so it's
Oh,
male. I'm the only female in the house.
and listen, what's the advantage that you found about being the only female in the house?
Well, I get a lot of good loving because they're all huggers, they're all, kissers, because my husband always taught them not to be ashamed to hug and to
Mhm.
love being loved. So I get plenty of hugs, I get plenty of kisses. I am just adored and loved, so I have no problem being the only woman in the house.
All right, I heard that. Well, now as we shift into that, because with motherhood, you
Mhm.
also have been in business, which you are in business now,
Right.
and you've been education, all the things that you've done. Uh, Talk about identity dynamics and how that fit into your scope of your family.
I think it fit into the scope. Identity Dynamics is a leadership development company, and our goal is to help people leverage who they are, the uniqueness of who they are, into their lives, their leadership philosophy, how they show up. We talk about how identity impacts 5 domains that we actually live out. It's personal, professional, spiritual, relational, and physical. And how do we now shape our beliefs, our values, who we want to be and what that looks like for as we move our lives forward in those domains and what that looks like. So professional people know me for the professional domain, as well as the personal. And so that connection back to my family and my life is me showing up as who it is that I am and not allowing the role of mother to stifle or to cause who I am as Stephanie to be put in the background, and not allowing that title or that role to define who I am, but understanding that who I am actually flows through that for my family, for my children and how they show up, and understanding that they need Stephanie, if that makes sense. I have no responsibilities, but they need me, who I am, my personality, what I love, what I enjoy. That is what makes their lives rich, not just the responsibilities I have, like taking them to school and giving them money and those are responsibilities, but they need who I am. They need Stephanie. Right. And so that's how my business and what I do in other people's lives impacts how I show up as a mother and impact my children's lives.
Wow. So when you started Identity Dynamics, what was the inspiration for you starting your business?
My business started with my own journey of wanting to know who I was. It started with me. I got to the point where I had been living as my roles and responsibilities and coming to the conclusion, like, you know what, that's not purpose. That's not me. And I started saying, well, who am I? What do I believe? What do I want? I want to live in purpose. I know it's bigger than this. There's more to me than just doing what I have been groomed to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to be who I'm called to be, who I've been created to impact with in the earth. And so it started with me looking, searching, doing that question and saying, you know what, there's more. Now, how do I learn what that is? And through my own journey of identity, learning who I was, how I showed up, understanding what purpose means, and then beginning to walk in that, I started sharing with classes with other women who was like, I want to know who I am too, child. I can answer myself that question. And I started teaching the classes, and they started telling that girl, you need to go to that class. You don't know who you is. You need to.
Well, listen, that was going to be my next question, Stephanie, because when people think about it, your calling, that's a big thing now, because everybody's trying to find their purpose. What's the one main thing that you share with women in particular about finding their calling?
One of the things that I say in my book that's coming out this fall, and it's called Identity, 12 Lessons on Unapologetically Owning Your Uniqueness in a World That Won't See It as Normal. That's the name of my book. And so in the book, one of the lessons is your purpose. We are so quick to keep on looking outside of ourselves for purpose. But no, you are purpose. You are here for a reason. Your journey, your wisdom, your lived experience has created a intellect, right? Has created a perspective and an understanding. Your victories, your trauma, your pain has created a narrative, a show up, a difference, a way of being that only you can be. And I tell people all the time, your difference is your superpower. It is what makes your value proposition valuable because of that. And so purpose is you. You are purpose. You are the gift. And in society and in societal norms, we are taught that what we do is what's valuable.
That's right.
And we forget, no, without who I am, what I do is what everybody does, right?
Right.
So it's who I am, me being the gift, which is one of the other lessons. You are the gift. And you being that gift then flows through the pathways of what you do. So it won't matter what you do. If you're a teacher, you will teach what? Your message, what your victory is, how you show up, what you've learned and gained. And that requires healing, right? That requires self-awareness, self-examination, personal development and growth. And when we start doing that, it'll knock up against everything that we've been taught. Don't pay attention to yourself. You're being selfish. No, you are the gift. You are purpose. You are here to impact. And I think once people start really getting that in their shanana, right? That calling.
Come on, shanana. Come on.
For real. It is your word.
Exactly.
It is your word. If you can breaking it down. And so I used to have a program called In Pursuit of Me, where people went through that journey of what is the message your life is called to speak? Because we all lead our impact. And when we learn what that is, oh my gosh, it doesn't matter what you do. It will show up whether you want it to or not.
That's right. Wow. Well, listen, we're going to take a break on that note because I want to come back, want to talk to you about accomplishments, about obstacles, challenges, and then I want to talk about your conference because I don't know if it's still open, but I do want to share it with the audience. So we're going to take a break and we'll be right back, Stephanie. Okay, all right. Folks, we'll be right back.
The Orangeburg County Conference Center supports downtown Orangeburg and our surrounding communities. The 6,000 plus square foot space is ideal for groups of up to 400 people attending corporate meetings, conventions, workshops, and special events. Conference Center staff are inspired to ensure that everyone can enjoy the modern amenities. State-of-the-art ballroom that accommodates up to 400 guests banquet style and 430 guests theater style. A warming kitchen with hot boxes, ice machine, refrigerator, freezer, and counter space. A lobby that accommodates 150 guests with special events outdoors. The comfortable outdoor amphitheater has a video wall and seating. Adjacent to the amphitheater is 12,000 plus square feet of green space that extends events outside, plus complimentary on-site event parking and additional parking across the street. Your event can take place all in one spectacular location. We welcome your special event in Orangeburg.
Stay tuned. You are now watching The Tammy Show. This is Roger Gas. Welcome.
Welcome back to the show. I don't know if you're just joining us or if you're just coming in and you've been in for a while, but let me tell you what, this phenomenal woman, Dr. Stephanie Kirkland, CEO of Identity Dynamics. If you missed it, listen, you missed a treat, but you can always go back because it comes back on YouTube. Listen, Stephanie, thank you for being on the show again and just being here. You know, what you said was so powerful about calling, about us showing up, and about the purpose that we have in life. The purpose is me. And so I want to thank you for that. You know, you always say a word and it just resonates with me. And so I'm grateful for you. I want to talk with you when people see us, Dr. Stephanie Kirkland, and they see you as the CEO of Identity Dynamics with your beautiful family. They see you as a businesswoman. They see you as this larger than life, as I do. Doctor, what were some of those obstacles that you faced when you really started with Identity Dynamics, or did you have any?
Yeah, my obstacles started with things that we deal with as women, trying to do everything that I was taught to do, being everything to everybody else except for to myself, needing to reassess and reimagine this conversation around being selfish, needing to develop what it meant to have boundaries, learning how to say no and mean it, being okay with people not being happy with the positions that I stand in, knowing that it is for my good or it was for the good of my family, and being okay that people weren't concerned. So it was a lot of lessons
Yeah.
right? Understanding that I was qualified with or without the letters behind my name,
Come on.
understanding the difference between being busy and being productive.
Hey,
It was a
come
lot.
on. Come on, Dr. Stephanie. Wow. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'm glad that you were you're so transparent with sharing that, because as you said, a lot of times as women, we're supposed to be that, do this, do that, get this done. We're
Mhm.
going to do this. And somebody calls, oh yes, girl, I can do that. And so it puts us in the mindset, as you said, and listening to you with the obstacles that you face and some of those challenges that you face, we all go through those. The
Yes.
question is, how do you navigate and turn all of that around?
You navigate and turn it around through the first step, which I do with the people that I coach and who I talk to, is self-awareness, right? And the self-awareness is a part of what I do when we do our pillars of what it means to walk in identity. And the first one is insight, the I for insight. And then the
Mhm.
next letter is D for deconstruct, talking about limiting beliefs and ideas and ways of being and showing up. And so in those two pillars is the three questions that I tell people that they have to ask themselves as they're doing the self-awareness, slowing down so that they can pay attention to their lives. Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Where did that come from? Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Where did that come from? Because we're now taking back our show up. We are now making different decisions about what that means and how we intentionally want to show up. We are no longer existing, right, with narratives of roles and
Mhm.
responsibilities.
Mhm.
We are now being intentional. I am going to live. I'm going to be intentional about my time, my space, my relationships, my money, right? And so those questions really help people start the journey of identity, start the journey of what that means. And the fourth question is in that deconstruct or in that D, which means looking at those limiting beliefs, things that we've already had, narrating out our process and saying, do I want to keep it?
Mm.
This lesson will change your life. Why did I do that? Why did I say that? Where did that come from? Do I want to keep it?
Keep it.
And
Wow.
when we start analyzing ourselves, slowing down, something as simple as, oh, is that me? No, girl, you know that's your mama. You don't think like that. You don't believe like you don't think nothing like that. But you say it because it's been groomed into you. It is not how
Mhm.
you want to show up, but it is your default setting because of how we are groomed and raised with all of those narratives and things that have been impacting our identity up until this point where we're now making a decision to be intentional.
Wow. Wow. Insight and deconstruct. Come on, Dr. Stephanie. See, I've got to sign. I'm gonna have to, I see already I'm gonna have to sign out. When we talk about, and I ask people this about the accomplishments, what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment?
I think my biggest accomplishment, and it's going to sound weird, is doing what I set my heart to do. I think that's my
Mm,
big honoring my own goals,
mm,
honoring my word for
wow.
what I wanted for my life and what that meant. I believe, yes, does what I do impact people? Of course. Are they best and empowered? Yes. Do I, hear people's hearts in what being in my programs or executive coaching has done? Yes, it is so powerful. But when we actually go back to me, my greatest accomplishment is honoring my own show up,
Mhm,
honoring my word about what I want to do, overcoming the obstacles that were keeping me from it, right? And that blesses me, going back to school because I went to school late. A lot of people think I went to school late. I just earned my doctorate in 2023. I said to myself, when I turn 50, I
mhm.
want to be working on my doctorate. When I turned 50, I was enrolled. To
All right.
me, honoring
Yeah.
that was
That's an
awesome to
accomplishment.
me.
Yeah.
That was the nuance for me. And then God's going and walking with me through that process, honoring my heart's desire and those doors opening to support that. So yeah, that I would say just honoring my own path and
Hearts.
knowing the value of it.
Wow. Wow. Well, Dr. Stephanie, we getting close to running out of time, and I still got a couple of more questions to ask.
Okay.
But when I think about this, and I ask people, and I think about it because people always ask me, "What's your philosophy? What's the philosophy that you live by?"
The philosophy that I live by is connected to what I do with identity dynamics. And it is a little tag. Discover your unique identity. Develop what you discover. Become your best self. Empower your life. Create impact.
Mm.
So that is my philosophy. It's
Yeah.
because we are ever evolving. We're always growing. And really, truly, because I believe I am purpose, it is my intention to create and to evolve and to grow. And because I believe me becoming the greatest expression of myself is how I show up and how I represent God in the earth. It
Yeah.
is my gift of show up. And so discovering what my unique identity, developing what I discover, becoming my best self, empowering my life, and creating impact from that.
Wow, my best self. As I say, I put all of this years of what people say, and I love it because I can go back and I can reflect on what you say. So, what's the takeaway that you want viewers to glean from this interview, this chat that we've had?
Do the work. Stop putting yourself on the back burner. You are the gift. Stop looking for purpose. Purpose is you. We're waiting on who you are. We're waiting on your show up because your show up impacts my life. It changes the trajectory of my next. So do the work, do the personal development work so that I can be impacted by your greatness.
Come on, say it. And so when you say the next, what's next for Dr. Stephanie Kirkland?
What's next for Dr. Kirkland is my book coming out. We are in the editing phase now, so we're going to start moving that forward. Like the choo-choo train, we're starting to move the train. And so this summer, people will be able to pre-order. We're working on the launch, and then we're working on the tour so that we can go to different cities and different places just to empower and encourage women to unapologetically own their uniqueness so that they can show up and be who they're called to be in the earth.
Yeah. And talk about the conference while we have just a little more time. Talk about the conference because I'm not sure if you can sign up anymore. My sister and I looked at it and I was like, I think it might be closed now.
Yeah. You talking about the VIP intensive that I'm doing this week?
Yeah, I got it. I got the information from you.
Yes, the VIP intensive. Yeah, we're like really, really tight. So if you coming, you need to tell me today.
Oh, okay.
So I can put your numbers in for your meal. But we're also another thing that's coming up that I do a retreat every year.
That's it. The Me Time.
Do it. The Me Time Recharge Retreat. Yes, that is in. We're going to be in Mexico. It's a beautiful luxury boutique resort. We're going to be as small and quaint, and that will be at the end of March. So if we haven't even started advertising yet, and just people knowing about it, we're already halfway full. Miss Tammy, you need to come on. Tell you and your sister, because the number is 20. We don't take more than 20 women. We got dinner on the beach, all inclusive. It's going to be wonderful. So let's go.
So send me the information because I'm looking at it right now. So I need the rest of the information so we can register. Well, what are we doing?
I'm doing a Zoom information session on Sunday night. So I'll send you the link so that you can participate in this information session.
Please send me the information. Yeah. Listen, because we my sister and I, we were talking about it. I sent it to her. She said, this might be something we could do, sis. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And then I looked at it, I was like, she already said it's gonna be full. I'm thinking we waiting too late.
I try to keep our event small so that people can engage and talk. So so it closes pretty fast. So but seriously, if you're interested,
Sunday night. Okay, please send me the link. Yes. Yeah. Listen, I know the folks are saying, well, they just got their own conversation going. They're on the show. But listen, that's what it's all about, because this means that when people get in touch with you, and Willie's going to show all of your handles, that they have this information. Now they're excited.
Yes.
about getting in touch with you and about you being their personal coach or their executive coach or,
Yes.
learning that leadership development, because I also want to talk to you about some other things. So I see a great thing going on here, Doc.
Thank you. Yes. Moving it forward.
Yes, yes, yes. And so I want to thank you again. Listen, Dr. Stephanie Kirkland, you are just amazing.
Thank you.
And I just want to tell you again, thank you for being so encouraging to me from the first time I met you. And I was like ready to run, child, just take off and run. And I was like, and everything that you talked about, because people don't realize when they see someone like you, or they see someone like me, just because I'm on television, they don't know all of the other nuances that
Correct.
go on behind the scenes and
Correct.
what happens. And as women, we're trying to do everything. So
Yes.
again, I just want to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for showing up and being so transparent.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to just continuing our connection because it
Yes.
definitely is divine.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Listen, may God continue to bless you and your family. And you have a good night, Dr. Stephanie Kirkland.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you so much. Be blessed. All right. Listen, folks, I tell you what, we've had a great show. Dr. Stephanie Kirkland, CEO of Identity Dynamics. If you didn't learn anything, let me tell you, you better show up and you better know that you are the gift. That's the one thing that I picked up. I am the gift. And so again, thank you, Dr. Stephanie Kirkland, for being on the show and taking this time just to spend time with us this evening. Listen, I want to thank all of our viewers. I always want to thank you viewers for tuning into Tammy, because you don't have to. And I really appreciate you for being here. Join us next week. We're going to have another special guest. And I want to thank my producer, Alicia, assistant producer, Willie. Thank you, Willie, for always showing up. And that's what he does, because he is the gift. And I love it. So please remember to subscribe to the Tammy TV show on the YouTube channel. That's the Tammy TV show. Hit that red button, subscribe, and it will notify you when the show is coming on. We're also on Facebook as well. Remember, let's be a blessing to somebody today. Call somebody up. Make sure you check on them and see how they're doing. Otherwise, listen, I've enjoyed today's show. You can tell I'm excited. I'm ready to run, get on that train, girl, and go. So I want to thank you again for joining me. And until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Bye, Dr. Stephanie.